Imagine a government document. It claims you can leave your body, travel through time, and even merge with infinite consciousness.
Right.
And it's stamped top secret CIA. I mean, it sounds like pure science fiction, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Well, back in 1983, this wasn't some wild novel. It was, believe it or not, a serious government report. Welcome, everyone, truth seekers and curious minds, to another My Mind MashUps deep dive.
Where we try to unravel these mysteries.
Exactly. Spark curiosity and hopefully make sense of some really complex ideas together.
Yeah.
Today, we're plunging into one of the, well, most mysterious declassified documents out there, the CIA's 1983 Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process. And this isn't just some, quirky government paper. It evaluated a program specifically designed to expand human consciousness, induce out-of-body experiences.
And potentially get intelligence advantages.
Right. During the height of the Cold War, it's this fascinating, almost unbelievable blend of what some call cutting-edge science.
While others would definitely say pseudoscience.
Yeah. And profound mysticism, mixed with that high-stakes paranoia that really gripped the world back then. Hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy content that, makes you think.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how these incredibly different elements all converge in one official document.
Yeah.
It almost forces us to challenge our own assumptions about what's even possible, doesn't it?
It really does.
So our mission for this deep dive is really to unpack this intriguing report, explore its origins, the alleged science behind it.
If we can call it science. Right,
the science claims, its intended applications, and of course, its lasting cultural impact.
And to really get our heads around it, we're going to explore this from two angles. The incredible potential a believer might see, and also the critical questions a skeptic would, quite rightly, raise. The goal is to give you all the pieces so you can form your own perspective.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So why on earth was the CIA even looking into something that, well, this out there?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It is. To understand, you really have to dial back to the intense Cold War paranoia of the 1970s. There was this very real, very unsettling fear in the U.S. that the Soviets were weaponizing psychic research.
Right, pouring resources into ESP psychokinesis.
Exactly. And this led the U.S. to fund its own experiments. Maybe the most famous was Project Stargate.
Ah, yes, Stargate.
The whole idea was to recruit remote viewers to, locate hostages or find hidden missile silos or something. It's almost unbelievable this was a real program, isn't it?
It absolutely sounds like a spy thriller.
Yeah.
And, the U.S. government did fund Project Stargate from '72 right up to 1995.
Wow, that long.
Yeah. But what's really critical to remember is how it ended. The CIA's own evaluation admitted the remote viewing data were consistently vague and ambiguous.
So useless, basically.
Well, they said it didn't produce actionable intelligence. If you step back, this reveals this sort of persistent tension in national security, right? The allure of some game-changing, unconventional advantage.
The magic bullet.
Often clashes directly with the scientific rigor you need for actual usable intelligence. It's a pattern we still see today, really, not just in psychic stuff.
That's a really powerful point. But even before the CIA officially got involved with Stargate, we need to talk about the pioneer behind a lot of these concepts. Robert A. Monroe.
Ah, Monroe, yes.
He was this successful radio executive who, way back in the 1950s, started experimenting with sound in altered states of consciousness.
Just on his own.
Initially, yeah. By 1958, he was documenting these truly incredible sensations like feelings of paralysis and tense vibrations, which eventually culminated in what he described as a full out-of-body experience. He literally wrote the book that popularized the term Journeys Out of the Body back in '71.
And he then went on to found the Monroe Institute, right, in Virginia.
That's the one.
And by the mid-'70s, he'd patented these audio techniques, specifically designed, he claimed, to synchronize the left and right brain hemispheres.
He called it Hemi-Sync, right?
Exactly. Hemi-Sync, short for hemispheric synchronization. And those were the very tapes that formed the core of this gateway training program the CIA later looked into. It was his method, supposedly, for helping others achieve those altered states he'd experienced.
Okay, now this is where the underlying science, quote-unquote, gets really interesting. At the heart of Hemi-Sync, we're talking about something called binaural beats. Can you break that down for us? How does the theory claim it can literally guide your brain? Because that sounds like a huge claim.
It is a big claim. The mechanism is supposed to be this. You play two tones, slightly different frequencies, one in each ear through headphones.
Okay.
And your brain perceives a third beat at the difference frequency. So if you hear 400 hertz in one ear and 410 hertz in the other, your brain sort of hears a 10 hertz beat.
Huh.
The theory, which is called brainwave entrainment, suggests that these perceived beats, usually in that 1 to 30 hertz range, can cause your brain's own electrical activity to start oscillating at the same frequency, basically guiding it into a desired state like relaxation or focus.
So it's like tuning your brain.
That's the idea. But this raises a really important question. Are we talking about a proven scientific effect? Or is it more of a fascinating perceptual phenomenon that's being interpreted in a very specific, maybe overly ambitious way?
What does the research say now?
Well, a pretty recent systematic review from 2023 actually looked at binaural beats and noted that the empirical results on brainwave entrainment are, and I quote, inconsistent.
Ah, inconsistent.
Right. So while you absolutely perceive that third beat, that part's real, the direct, reliable, consistent effect on brainwave patterns to induce specific states, like the Gateway report suggests, that isn't really firmly established in the wider scientific literature.
So it's more of a theory with some, let's say, interesting anecdotal evidence rather than a slam dunk proven mechanism, at least for now.
It's a fair way to put it.
Still, the Gateway training aimed to use these techniques to guide people through different brainwave states without losing awareness, like delta waves, deep sleep, or theta waves, that kind of dreamy meditative state. Then alpha waves, when you're relaxed but alert. The goal was to go from our normal waking beta state down through alpha and theta towards even deeper states, but stay conscious the whole time.
A kind of lucid dreaming while awake, almost.
Yeah. But for such a radical journey into the mind, you probably need a pretty radical framework to explain it. And that's where this guy, Itzhak Bentov, his ideas really shaped the report's underlying philosophy, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. Bentov's influence, especially from his book Stalking the Wild Pendulum, it introduces a truly mind-bending idea. He proposed that the universe itself, and even our brains, function like a giant hologram.
A hologram? How does that work?
You know how with a hologram, even if you break off a tiny piece, that piece still contains the entire image, just maybe less detailed?
Right, yeah.
Bentov suggested this could mean information isn't stored just in one place, but it's sort of universally accessible. Almost like our brains aren't generators of thought, but more like complex antennas tuning into a cosmic internet for instantaneous information recall.
Wow.
Okay, so this puts into perspective how Bentov's ideas about non-local consciousness and a holographic reality heavily influenced the report's claim that reality is an interacting energy field.
All right, I remember reading that.
And that human consciousness can actually tune into different frequencies of this field.
That is a huge leap, isn't it? From brainwaves and binaural beats to holographic universes and cosmic internet. Okay, so what did this all mean for someone actually doing the Gateway training? Monroe set up these numbered focus levels, right?
Correct. Specific states of consciousness, supposedly accessible via the Hemi-Sync tapes and meditation.
And the Gateway experience itself was structured in waves of exercises, like building blocks.
Sequentially, yes.
It started pretty simply, I gather. Focus 3 was just introduction, orientation, linking your physical waking state with mental relaxation.
Kind of dipping your toes in.
Then you'd move to Focus 10. That was the mind awake, body asleep state. Deep relaxation, body rests, but consciousness stays alert. From there, Focus 12 was about expanded awareness. People reported feeling like more than just their physical body.
Getting a bit weirder.
Yeah. And as the training went on, they introduced even more profound and frankly wilder states. Like Focus 15, the report calls it the no-time state. What did they even think was possible if consciousness operated outside linear time?
Good question.
And then Focus 21, the bridge to other realms. I mean, what did that truly entail? What realms are we talking about?
So if we kind of strip away all the technical jargon and the pseudophysics, it really does sound a lot like CIA-approved astral projection, doesn't it?
It does.
All carefully documented, with a military officer's official report to make it sound, well, credible. It's certainly ambitious, to say the least.
Ambitious is definitely one way to put it. And here's where the intelligence community's interest really clicks in, right? If you could genuinely reach these states, if consciousness could operate outside time or be a bridge to other realms.
Imagine the possibilities for spying.
Exactly. Spying without being there. The ultimate remote viewing, just like the report implied. Think about the strategic advantage. Gathering intelligence from anywhere. Zero physical risk. It's the stuff of spy legends.
And that potential is incredibly compelling. You can see why they'd be interested. However,
Uh-oh, here comes the reality check.
we have to directly confront that compelling theory with the harsh reality of Project Stargate.
Right.
It ran for 20 years, like we said.
2 decades.
And it never delivered real actionable results. The CIA itself shut it down in 1995. Their own report admitted the remote viewing data was vague and ambiguous. It just didn't produce actionable intelligence.
Wow.
So despite the really compelling theoretical framework, the practical application utterly fell short. It raises that critical question. Can pursuing such an advantage, however tantalizing it seems, justify decades of investment with no tangible returns?
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to make sense of this? If the potential was so huge, the theory so elaborate, why was the gateway process ultimately just set aside?
Right.
What does it tell us about how we decide what's worth pursuing, or even what we're willing to believe when we face the unknown? Hey, if this is resonating with you, definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next deep dive.
It's also worth noting how the Gateway report itself, particularly the analysis by Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonnell.
He wrote the main assessment, right?
He did. And he drew these extensive parallels to ancient philosophical and spiritual traditions. He explicitly linked the Gateway process to concepts found in, like, Kabbalah, Hermeticism, various Eastern mystical practices.
Really?
Yeah. Almost suggesting that these ancient teachings were like rudimentary maps of the same territory the Gateway program was trying to explore with technology.
Wow.
McDonnell even went further in his conclusion. He started discussing the idea of merging with the absolute, with an infinite cosmic intelligence. Heavy stuff.
It almost sounds like he's saying science is finally catching up with spirituality, discovering what mystics and ancient philosophers talked about for centuries. That merging, it suggests a convergence of the deeply spiritual and the supposedly scientific. That's a really profound thought.
Or maybe a military officer getting a little carried away, perhaps writing more like a mystic monk than an analyst. You could argue he sort of drank his own Kool-Aid, if you will.
Maybe.
Because there are plenty of skeptical voices outside the report. People who framed the Gateway process squarely as pseudoscience, a misuse of physics concepts. Sources like the Lucid Guide, for example, they point out these inconsistencies, the lack of solid empirical evidence for such grand claims.
That's a very valid point, given how far out the report goes, but that classified stamp, that's the thing that really keeps the intrigue going, isn't it?
The secrecy aspect.
If it was all just nonsense, a complete waste of time and taxpayer money, then why classify it for over 20 years? That's a powerful argument from the believer side, suggesting there was something there worth hiding, something they didn't want us, the general public, to know about.
It certainly fuels speculation.
And it's not just some dusty old Cold War relic anymore. This report actually went viral on TikTok in 2020, trended again in 2021. It reignited popular interest for a whole new generation.
That enduring impact is undeniable. The Monroe Institute still runs Gateway workshops today. You can find their Hemi-Sync stuff online at Hemi-Sync.com.
Still going strong.
And beyond that, the Gateway process keeps popping up. YouTube documentaries, podcasts like this one, Netflix CIA Files specials. It cemented its place in modern pop culture and sort of alternative spirituality circles. It just refuses to fade away.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, how does this weird old Cold War document resonate today? I mean, you see echoes of it everywhere, right?
Where do you see them?
Well, in our current obsessions. The mysteries of AI consciousness, for one, or the mind-bending ideas of simulation theory. Are we living in a hologram, like Bentov suggested? And even immersive VR experiences, trying to create alternate realities.
That's a good point. We're still grappling with the nature of reality and consciousness, just using different tools and maybe different jargon.
Exactly. Different technological and philosophical lenses, but the same fundamental questions.
So what stands out to you, listening right now, when you consider how these really complex, sometimes controversial ideas just keep sparking curiosity and challenging our basic understanding of reality?
It leaves us, as we wrap up this deep dive, with that really profound question, doesn't it? Was the Gateway process a real map to other dimensions, to expanded consciousness? Or was it just, the CIA getting high on metaphors and math during a really paranoid time? It forces us to confront the limits of our own understanding.
And maybe the ultimate insight for us isn't about whether Gateway worked in the way they hoped. Perhaps it's about recognizing this timeless human drive, this drive to understand consciousness, to push its boundaries. It persists, regardless of the scientific fads or the geopolitical climate. The gateway process, for all its ambition and all its controversy, maybe just serves as this powerful reminder of humanity's ceaseless yearning to explore the uncharted territories of the mind, and maybe, by extension, the universe itself.
Wow. Powerful questions and insights to ponder, for sure. We really hope you continue your own exploration of these ideas, because every deep dive we do here is about sparking that curiosity.
Challenging assumptions.
And expanding our understanding together. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear more My Mind Mashups deep dives.
Find My Mind Matchups everywhere you listen. Amazon Music, Audible, Facebook, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and YouTube.
And definitely drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective could shape our next deep dive. We didn't come this far just to come this far. This has been My Mind Mashups.